Hello there, Capricorn. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly tarot video forecast. This is for the month of June, and I do have it broken down into two different segments. So we're going to start with June the 1st through the 14th, and then we'll move on to June the 15th through the 30th. Okay, so 1st through the 14th, let's just dive right in. The first thing that I'm looking at is your environment. And what shows up for your environment is that there are going to be some pretty big surprises going on around your environment. This could be some kind of shakeup. So that'll be interesting to see how that manifests. Of course, it's going to manifest very different for all of you. And when I have the environment card, by the way, it's not only about some place you have energy or effort invested into, but sometimes it talks about things going on with the people within that environment as well. So some kind of big shakeup or surprise that's happening during this time frame. All right, so Capricorns, let's look next at your subconscious leanings. It looks to me like you are really I don't want to say concerned, but you're really focused on your health and your level of health and your health status and strengthening your health. So your subconscious is really working around ideas of making you stronger and more healthy during this time frame. Next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about learning style and also communication style. I do see that you are learning about how to multiply your money, how to make more money, and a lot of your conversations during this time frame are centered around money as well. Looking next at work, it looks to me like you were feeling restricted or limited in some way whenever it came to work before, and I think at some point during this time frame you are going to be realizing that the only restrictions really are the ones that you had put on yourself, and you're starting to lift those restrictions and bring yourself more liberty whenever it comes to work. Capricorn. All right, next thing that we're looking at is that part of your personality that's being grown or expanded during this time frame. It does look to me like you are getting more expressive about your feelings to the people around you, and that's where you're growing and expanding. La da da da. Next thing we're looking at talks to me about something that you stand for. And then when we look at something that you stand for, we're looking at something where somebody actually asked you to explain something, or they may have asked you to, or they may have actually confronted you. And so we're going to look at whatever it is that you have to stand for during that explanation or confrontation, and then we're also going to look at how that other person feels after that interaction. So looks to me like there is a situation that had gone on for a little while that caused some tension or some unrest, basically is what I'm feeling. And I think that you thought that that situation was over and that that tension was no longer a factor. And what's going on is it's actually showing up again. It hasn't really been put to bed completely. And so I think that you're having to deal with this tense situation once again. After you explain this to somebody or talk to them about this, they see you as somebody who is, it's interesting, they see you as somebody who's celebrating. They see you as somebody who is happy about this situation. So I'm not sure why they would think that you're happy about a situation where a long-term tension comes back up to the surface, but that's their perception of you. Kind of interesting, isn't it? Next thing we're looking at is the lesson or experience of the time frame, and this talks about either something that you love that you're just discovering for the first time, or something that you love that is coming back from the past, and so it's sort of a renewed love. Now this can be a person, this can be an activity, this can be a hobby, this can be a work project. So either new love or renewed love. And, you know, love in the looser definition, not necessarily romantic love. All right. As you are discovering this new love or renewing this love, there are some things going on. I think that you've got a situation where somebody in your life you more or less invested in them, you've supported them, expecting that they would be able to pay you back at a certain time. And it looks to me like the time is now, and they're not able to pay you back right now. Or maybe they're not willing. Either way, they're not paying you back right now, and it's it's throwing the balance off in this relationship. And then once we get to the end of this time frame, we really just have confirmation of what I just said. You're not feeling like things are very balanced in your life right now. And so I think that what's going on when you were supporting this person, I think you were counting on what they could give you back when they were supposed to be giving it back. And so now I think you're scrambling a little bit to kind of rob Peter to pay Paul to make sure that everything is covered because this person isn't coming through on their side of things. Okay, so that's the first half of the month. Let's go ahead and take a little break, and when I come back, we'll look at the last half of the month, Capricorn. See you in a moment. Okay, Capricorn, we are back again, and this time we're looking at the second half of June. And so we're starting with the 15th moving forward. And what we're looking at first is your environment. And the environment, what I'm showing here this time, and remember, environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested, but what I'm showing this time is that you're feeling really restricted in your environment, like you're not able to necessarily move forward the way that you want to. Okay? The next thing that we have showing up talks to me about subconscious leanings for you, and this tells me that there is some kind of situation that you've really been mulling over and trying to work out, and it looks like your subconscious is coming up with some kind of solution for whatever this is that has held you kind of paralyzed, and this may even have to do with that environment where you feel like you don't know how to move forward. It doesn't have to be tied together, but it is interesting that that's what's coming up in your subconscious and you're feeling restricted in your home environment. Next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about learning style and also communication style. I do think that you're learning a lot about other people's feelings and how they feel about some very specific things during this time frame. And as far as communication, I think that communication may have sort of been turned on its head. I'm feeling like there may be some technological issues that make it hard to communicate for you guys. I mean, this could be anything from a phone acting up to, you know, internet outages in your area or something like that. But I do think that communication is getting turned on its head. You're communicating in a way that is different from what you normally would. Next thing I'm looking at talks to me about work. I'm really liking what I see here in work. This is a card that tells me that things are going very well for you in work, and there may have been some time when you know, things weren't going so well, and this is sort of like persistence pays off. You know, now things are starting to fall into place and move forward in a very good way for you. Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. It looks like you're really challenged right now with where are you going to spend your time? It feels to me like you've got a lot on your plate that you're trying to get accomplished, and so this card basically says that if you don't do something different, then some things are going to fall through the cracks. So what do you want to do different? Well, you want to delegate some of the tasks that are doable by somebody else to somebody else so that things don't fall through the cracks, and that way you are covering only the things that only you can do. Okay, next we're looking at those things that you stand for. It looks like there's a person here, and this is somebody who is a little bit younger, usually makes good decisions, but not always. Somebody who's very thoughtful, likes to think things out before he makes a move, probably a he, could be a she. And this is somebody who I think they're careful with their resources. They're careful with their money. They yeah, I don't think that they make a whole lot of decisions spur of the moment or splurging or impulse purchases. Next card that we do have coming up talks to me about after you've defended this person, how the person you've defended this person to feels, and they feel like you and this other person are basically in cahoots, that you guys have the same goals, the same targets, and that you guys are working together towards those. All right, so then the next thing that we have showing up talks to me about the lesson or experience that you're having as you move through this particular time frame. And so what we have going on is I think there are things that are being evened up. So if somebody owed you some money, this could be somebody paying that back. If they borrowed your lawnmower and they didn't bring it back last summer, this could be them bringing that lawnmower back. This is somebody that is evening things up where you've extended a hand to help them. They're doing something to pay you back for that. At the same time that that is going on, it looks like you're also receiving multiple paybacks. We have this payback showing up here, and then we've got another payback showing up on another card. So this is coming in from somewhere else. And it looks like this coming in actually helps you to get caught up and helps you to bring things back into balance financially. This is really nice to see considering how we were ending at the middle of the month. This is nice to see that basically, you know, we're getting back at least to square one. We're getting back into recovery mode, and I like that. And then the last thing that we see before the month ends out, I think that there is a little something going on where you're not feeling like your normal, perky, happy self. There may be like some kind of stomach flu or some kind of illness that comes in towards the end of the month for you. I want to say the last 4 to 5 days even maybe. So a couple of these paybacks that you're getting, you may already be feeling a little bit off by the time they show up. So yeah, that's kind of how we end up the month. Kind of a bummer. So I'm going to say, you know, the reason we get these ahead of time is because if we see something that we don't like, then we have the chance to switch the energy and make the things on the table not be true. So knowing that we've got this coming up towards the end of the month, guess what I would be doing? Taking supplements that would boost my immune system. I would probably start from maybe around the halfway point of the month to take like just some extra vitamin C and some garlic and cinnamon and some of those other things that boost your immunity so that maybe you don't end up being sick. Maybe you make these cards into not realities, you know? You know, we have free will. We don't have to experience something just because it shows up on the table. In fact, knowing that it shows up on the table early gives us a chance to head it off at the pass. So do things about boosting your immunity so that you can end up feeling good at the end of the month. That's my advice to you. All right, Capricorns, thank you so much for being here and spending some of your precious time with me. Thank you also for the thumbs ups on this video and for sharing this video. Thank you to those of you who participate in the super chats whenever I'm live. I appreciate that. And I will see you guys on the next video, except for those of you who I'll see the next time in a private reading and a private Reiki session. I'm very much looking forward to those. And everybody have a wonderful month. Peace out.